on to that. Today, we'll be presenting The Borrowers, a story by Mary Norton, published in 1952. This story features a group of small people known as the Borrowers. If this sounds familiar to you, that's because there was a Disney film based on it, made in 2010. Now, I will introduce the characters. We have Peter Hassan playing as narrator 1. Governor Ash is playing as Boy. Todd, which is me, playing as me. Andy Thomas playing as Harry Andrew. Stephen Paulson is playing as narrator 2. And our cameraman, Andrea Romano. Our presentation is a reader's theater, so that means we'll be reading to you in character, but not necessarily acting it out. Now let's begin.
Imagine you are nearly 14 years old, but are only a few inches tall, and you live under the floor of a great house in the country. Imagine your tiny father takes you upstairs and outdoors for the first time, and on that very first day, you meet a being that seems like a giant.
That's what happened to Harry Andrews, one of the little people called the Borrowers. While his father was at work by the front door of the house, he ran off under a cherry tree to sit amongst the grass and wildflowers. But then, something moved above him on the bank. Something glittered. Ariadne stared.
It was an eye like his own, but enormous, a glaring eye. Then the eye blinked, a great fringe of lashes came curving down and up again, out of sight.
Harry Andrews sat breathless with fear. Cautiously, he moved his legs. He would slide noiselessly in amongst the grass and wildflowers and would slither away down the bank.
Don't move.
The voice, like the eye, was enormous, but somehow hushed. Harry Andrew, his heart pounding in his ears, heard the breath again, drawing swiftly into the vast room.
Or I shall hit you with my stick.
Suddenly, Harry Andrew became calm. His voice, crystal thin and hair-bell clear, came tingling on the air.
Why? In case you ran quickly towards me through the grass. In case you came at me scrambling at me with your nasty little hands.
Harry Andrew stared at the eye. He held himself quite still.
Did you come from the house?
Yes.
From where in the house?
I'm not going to tell you.
Then I'll hit you with my stick.
All right, hit me.
I'll pick you up and break you in half.
All right.
Harry Andrews stood up and took 2 paces forward.
There was an earthquake in the grass. He spun away from him and sat up, a great mountain in the green turf.
Stay where you are.
Harry Andrews stared up at him. He, breathless he felt, and light with fear.
I guess you're about 9.
You're wrong. I'm 10.
He looked down at him, breathing deeply.
How old are you?
14. Next June.
There was silence while Harry Andrew waited, trembling a little.
Can you read?
Of course. Can't you?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, not so well.
I can read anything. Some people hold the book on pages.
Could you read out loud?
Of course.
Would you wait here while I get a book from out of the house?
Well,
I won't be but a minute.
He began to move away, but turned suddenly back and came towards him. He stood a moment as though embarrassed.
Can you fly?
no. Can you?
Of course not. I'm not a fairy.
Nor mine. Nor is anyone. I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in them?
No. Do you?
Of course not. But supposing you saw a little man, about as tall as a pencil, with a blue patch on his trousers, halfway up a window curtain, with holding a Dulce cup, would you say it's a fairy?
No. I'd say it's my father.
Oh, are there many people like you?
No. None. We're all different.
I mean, as small as you.
What a funny question. I mean, surely you don't think there's many people in the world your size.
There are many more people my size than yours.
Honestly, do you really think? I mean, what sort of world would it be? Those great chairs. I've seen them. Fancy if you had to make chairs that size for everyone. And their clothes. The stuff to make them. Miles and miles of it. Tents of it. And the sewing. And their great chairs. And their houses. Reaching so high you can barely see the ceilings. And the food they eat. Smoking mountains of it. That's why my father says it's a good thing they're dying out. Just a few of them, he says. That's all we need to keep us going. Otherwise, the whole thing gets, what do you say, exaggerated.
What do you mean, keep us going?
So Harry Andrew told him about borrowing, how difficult it was, and how dangerous. He He told about the storerooms under the floor, and about his mother, Homily, and his father, Pod. She told him about Pod's exploits, his skill, how he would venture bravely into the house above to borrow whatever his family needed.
Borrow. Is that what you call it?
What else could you call it?
I call it stealing.
But we are borrowers, just like you're a human being, whatever they call it. We're part of the house. It's like calling, might as well say the fire grade steals coal from coal scuttle.
Then what is stealing?
You don't know? Well, suppose my uncle Drury stole something from the house, and then my dad took it from him. Borrows don't steal.
Except from human beings.
You are funny. Borrows, human beings are for borrowers, like rest provider.
The boy was silent a while. A sigh of wind rustled the cherry tree and shivered among the blossoms.
Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe that's what we're for at all. I don't believe we're dying out.
Oh goodness, just use your common sense. I've only seen 3 human beings, other than you, and I know lots and lots of borrowers.
Then where are they now? Tell me that.
Well, my uncle Drury has a house in the country and 3 children.
Where are the others?
Oh, they're somewhere.
He shivered slightly in the boy's cold shadow.
Well, I've only seen 2 borrowers, but I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of human beings.
Harry Andrew stood very still. He did not look at him.
I don't believe you.
All right? Then I'll tell you.
I still won't believe you.
Listen.
And he told him about the railway stations and football matches and race courses and royal processions and Albert Hall concerts. He told her about India and China and North America and the British Commonwealth. He told him about the July sales.
Hundreds, not hundreds, but thousands and millions and billions and trillions of great, big, enormous people. Now, do you believe me?
Harry Andrew stared up at him with frightened eyes.
I don't know.
As for you, I don't believe it. There are any worlds left in the world. I believe you're the last 3.
We're not. There's Aunt Luby and Uncle Drury and all the cousins.
I bet they're dead. And what's more, no one will ever believe I've seen you. And you'll be the very last, because you're the youngest. One day, you'll be the last borrower left in the world.
He sat still waiting, but Harry Andrew did not look up.
Now you're crying. No, not yet.
Oh, yes, I'm going.
Please let me get a book.
Alright.
The boy was gone, and Harry Andrew stood there alone in the sunshine, shoulder deep in grass. What had happened seemed too big for thought. Not only had he been seen, but she has also been talked to. Not only had he been talked to, but he had.
Harry Andrew, come over here.
He spun around, and there was Pod on path, round face, kind, familiar. Obediently, she started over.
What do you want to go on the grass for? I might never have seen you. Hurry up now, your mother will have you waiting.
Yes.
Yeah?
Fifth grade. This is our speech class, and speech class was learning about plays and skits and the different types. And so this group did a reader's theater. First time they ever performed for elementary. So if we can give them a round of Anybody have any questions? Have you heard of the story before? It is a movie, so maybe over the holidays if you get a chance, maybe you can rent it maybe on Netflix or something and take a look. It's actually
You know what? Y'all watch the movie, and y'all do comparison between that and this, y'all get extra credit from me.
I never seen
It might be fun to
Red
A comparison between the skit and this. Extra credit and positive points.
Where do you turn it in?
Compare and contrast.
Where do you turn it in?
You give it to me.
That's a great way to start up the new semester with already getting extra credit. Thanks, Ms. Cole. All right, does anybody happen to have any questions for our readers? Yes, sir.
What is the movie it's called?
Well,
I think it's the bar.
Yeah, it's the bar.
There's several kinds. I mean, if you're looking for the cartoon one, this made for like in 2010.
Because
It's like,
I've seen a movie kind of like it. I knew it was little people.
was it a cartoon or like a, movie?
Movie, like those people that.
that one's probably just the borrowers then.
Yeah, it's just the brothers.
I think it's actually called The Borrowers.
I think it is too.
You know what, I'll research today and let y'all know.
Are there any other questions for our guys? It's really kind of hard for kids who have never been in front of other kids to perform. So, you did a good job. Thank you guys so much. The Explorers class this quarter, I wanted to let you know, they sat here quiet, they were very patient. They did a great job of waiting for the rest of the class, and I told them I would let you know. They did a very nice job. All right, Miss Lynn, how do you want to, what class do you have?
5A and 5B.
5A.